David Kelly here for grassrootsvegan.com. I don't really have anything planned to talk about. It's cold here in Toronto, Canada. It's about -8 out today, but it's sunny, and so it's nice to go out for a short walk, or if you dress up really warmly you can go for a longer walk. But it's cold and I miss the summer. I miss my vegetable garden. So, you know, I've been on YouTube for a little while now, not too long, and maybe I should just kind of fill you in as to where I'm coming from and who I am. As I said, I live here in Toronto in the beach area, and about, I guess it's going on the 4th year now. In the late summer of 2006, I became a vegan. And the reason why I became a vegan was because my wife at the time was reading a book by Colin Campbell called The China Study, and it convinced her to give up meat and dairy. And so in the beginning, I reluctantly followed her path, and it very quickly became my path. Probably about 3 months into the diet, or 4 months into the diet, was when it really became a part of my personal conviction to be vegan. And that was because I was scheduled to, I had my physical at the doctor's, and they did, you know, the routine blood test, and I came up glucose intolerant. And that was somewhat of a shock. I couldn't believe that. I mean, I used to be able to eat quite liberally in the past and drink liberally, and never really had to worry about, as long as I exercised, I didn't really worry too much about my health. I thought I felt good. And, you know, in reality though, I was about 40 pounds overweight. So the doctor recommended that I see a dietitian, and so I took his recommendation and I saw a dietitian, and with her help, she was not a vegan, but she was willing to go along with the vegan diet to, you know, see if we can deal with this problem. And so what I did was, even though I was vegan, I was eating a lot of high-fat food. And just basically, probably because I was trying to make up for the fact that I wasn't eating meat or cheese anymore, which were a big part of my diet prior to becoming a vegan. So I would add tons of oil and whatever I fry, did a lot of frying, and ate a lot of nuts, and raw nuts, like salted, roasted nuts, and ate, you know, it just felt like, oh, I gotta make sure I have all the fat that I need, and I would rationalize it like, you know, I'm using olive oil, and that's good fat, right? All the good fats, yeah. But it really was not helping me health-wise to have all that fat in my diet. The moment I significantly cut back on the fat and ate nutrient-rich food, I saw the difference almost immediately. And, you know, within the first month, my body was literally detoxifying itself. I remember, you know, I was working out at the local gym, and, you know, I used to always like to work up a sweat, so I'd have myself layered until I was sweating and then take off the layers. Well, one morning I took off the layers and I looked at my tank top. It was a white tank top, and it was like all this black, brownish black sweat coming out of me. I thought, oh wow, it was embarrassing. And this happened again and again and again. I couldn't quite understand what was going on. I don't know if anybody else has ever experienced that, but at the same time I was also losing a lot of weight rather rapidly. And so the only thing I can think of was my body was getting rid of a lot of garbage that I had built up over the years. And that continued for about another couple of weeks, and then it stopped, and I lost probably about 20 pounds, which, you know, was great. I felt wonderful. And but I still continued to lose weight, and in total I ended up losing about 40 pounds. And when I went for my second blood test, the high sugar count was normalized now. I was in the normal range. The glucose intolerant issue was no longer there. It was no longer a concern, and I was now in a healthy body weight for my size. And on top of that, I felt fantastic. I had twice, maybe 3-4 times as much energy as I did before, and I used to have skin problems that pretty much disappeared. And so that was the beginning. That was really the beginning of my vegan journey, of understanding that food does make a difference. You know, in the past I used to think, as long as I worked out, you know, did some exercise, and I know people who make that same, I see people every day making that same mistake. They're way overweight and they're out there running and doing all sorts of crazy things to compensate for their abusive lifestyle. And I used to believe, and because, you know, when I was younger, it actually did work. I mean, when you're younger, you can get away with a lot, that as long as you do some exercise, you can eat your potato chips, you can drink your bottle of wine or your case of beer or whatever it is, you know, smoke your joint or whatever, but just, you know, have a good workout the next day and you'll be fine. But as you get older, that gig just doesn't work anymore. You got to change your ways. And for me, it was low fat. Being vegan, and the only way you can really truly take a low fat approach to eating is by being vegan, because if you're eating meat and you're eating cheese, well, they're loaded with fat. And then, you know, so okay, so you say, well, I'm going to cut down on my portions, but the problem is then you're not getting enough calories, and so you're going to feel deprived, and at some point you're going to break. If you deprive yourself long enough, your body has its own mechanism, and it's not going to, you know, at some point it's just going to say enough is enough, and it'll grab whatever is there and eat it. And so what's really important, I found, is that you got to keep the fat count down, and the ideal range is your total calorie of all the calories you eat in a day. Really only 10% of that should be of fat. That's kind of difficult to achieve, but that ideally is what you should aim for. At the very most, 20%. But ideally, 10% is the magic number. And then eating nutrient-rich foods. So you're getting your calories, you're keeping your fat down, and you're getting your nutrition. If you do that, then you can succeed, and you can experience the benefits of a healthy vegan diet. I think I don't know how much time I have left, but I think that's enough for now. I will continue this conversation on in my next video. Have a wonderful day, and again, I'm David Kelly from grassrootsvegan.com. Peace. God bless.